All right, everyone, it's about 2 minutes past the hour, so let's dive right in. My name is Raquel, and I'm from PromoRpeublic. Today, you're with us to really hear the success story of how doTERRA at their head office has empowered their distributors to amplify their brand voice across social media. And what you're seeing on the screen ahead of us is the KPIs that doTERRA has achieved just through our partnership in the past year and a half to 2 years since we have initially started. So to kick off and introduce myself, my name is Raquel and I run the customer success and partnerships departments here at PromoRpeublic. I've been in SaaS for quite a while. Before that, there was an ancient history in politics, so very well-rounded, but very excited to be here and talk to you today, especially with John. John, can you hear us? Oh, John, I believe you're muted.
There we go. There we go. Unmuted. Rookie mistake. All right. Ancient history and politics. We'll have to take that offline sometime, Raquel. That sounds interesting to me.
Definitely.
All right. Everyone, it's great to be with you today. John, I'm Senior Director of Marketing here at doTERRA. We'll talk more about who doTERRA is and how we utilized the great functionality of the PromoRpeublic platform to help us really amplify our brand. But I've been in social media and marketing and influencer marketing now for, gosh, it's been coming up on 3 decades, believe it or not. So I've really seen the evolution of social media from, my first tweet almost 2 decades ago to, TikTok and Snapchat and all of that fun stuff. So excited to be with you today and hopefully share some thoughts that will implement or help you implement many more advancements in your area as well.
Thanks, John. Excited. So before I pass the mic over to John, I did want to go over today's agenda for you all. So we're going to start with the background and strategic goals of doTERRA and who they are as a company. And then why they decided to switch from their previous solution to PromoRpeublic, how they made these decisions internally, what that looked like, and how doTERRA Social helps really amplify the brand voice amongst everyone, and what that rollout process looked like, the results they achieved, and we'll open it up to questions and answers at the end. So with that said, we do have a question and answer box that I will be keeping an eye on throughout, so feel free to throw questions in there. Otherwise, I'm gonna pass the mic and turn my camera off to John. I'll kick it off.
Wonderful. Thanks, Raquel. Yeah, so just a little background about doTERRA. If you haven't heard about doTERRA, we are the world's leader in the essential oil market. You may have heard about us from a friend or an acquaintance or a family member or online. doTERRA.com is our website, but we manufacture and distribute essential oils and other products to customers across dozens of markets around the globe. So that's a little bit about us. Now, we're unique in the fact that we aren't retail per se. We use a distribution method. We call them wellness advocates. These are individuals that are basically our endpoint salespeople that interact with, again, their acquaintances, their family members, their friends, to help them become more aware of doTERRA. And obviously here at corporate, we're trying to empower these wellness advocates with as many tools as possible so they can educate people not only about health and wellness, but specifically about essential oils and how essential oils help them on their journey toward health and wellness. So that's a little bit about doTERRA. Now, one of the things, if you want to go to the next slide, Raquel, one of the things that we are often challenged with is how do we best, as I mentioned, empower these wellness advocates to do the things we need to do to grow as a company. We want to empower them individually, but also obviously what they're doing is helping us from a corporate perspective, spread the word about doTERRA and about the things that we provide. So as we look at some of our strategic goals, we've kind of encapsulated those within these 4 that you see on the screen in front of you. Number 1, create a supportive environment for our wellness advocates to succeed. We really want to provide them with the education needed so that they spend more time knee to knee and face-to-face or virtual face-to-face during a pandemic period with people who want to learn more about health and wellness and how essential oils can impact them. So again, we want to support them. Number 2, we want to grow independent and self-motivated business owners. At the end of the day, each one of these wellness advocates, they're their own boss. They determine what their schedule looks like, um, how many appointments they want to keep a week or per day, how active they want to be from a doTERRA perspective. So we definitely want to help them on their way to creating a personal brand, but also make sure that that's compliant with doTERRA's overall brand. We think that that's very important. Third goal is to involve our wellness advocates in new product launches and promotions. How do we best make them aware of what's happening from a promo perspective? Also, how do we give them assets so that they can easily duplicate what needs to be done with all the promos or the BOGOs, buy one, get ones, or the percentage off promotions, other things that we have going on. So can we create a duplicable model that allows them to spend less time in front of a computer and more time with people? If so, that's success to us. And number 4, promote and share doTERRA, our values and our lifestyle. Most people are attracted to doTERRA because they believe in our brand and our model of health and wellness, but also because they want the community of doTERRA. So as we are able to create something, a tool like PromoRpeublic, a white labeled tool, like we call it doTERRA Social, but it's basically PromoRpeublic powering that tool, then that helps us to promote those values and that lifestyle through each of our wellness advocates. So those are our 4 main strategic goals. As we move on to the next slide, we'll talk about some things that are a little bit more challenging, because we do realize challenges as we go through this journey of trying to do those 4 things that I just mentioned for our wellness advocates. Number 1, how do we automate those routine tasks that our wellness advocates have to undertake day in and day out? We all realize that there's administrative tasks that each of us have in each of our lives. Our wellness advocates are no different. But how do we, again, help them spend less time doing those administrative tasks and automate those so that they can spend more time one-on-one, talking, getting to know, building a relationship, selling their brand to people that they meet and come into contact with? So automation is a key. Number 2, finding more opportunities for wellness advocate businesses. How do we help them? I call it softening the beachhead. That's kind of a war term, but in World War II, a lot of airplanes would strife the beaches, or they'd go over and they'd soften the beachhead, so to speak, so that the people that came in on the boats, they didn't have as many people that are coming against them. And we try to soften the beachhead from a brand perspective. We try to give them some opportunities. We try to create more opportunities, whether it's through advertising or other ways that the wellness advocates can interact with people, so that if we corporate take over some of that softening of the beachhead, then it's easier for the wellness advocates to do their job. The third thing is compliant product communication. One thing that we're always concerned about is to make sure that we have, again, each of these individual business owners who are brands unto themselves, we need to make sure that they make compliant claims, that they're not on the fringes or saying things that they shouldn't, that us or other regulatory bodies don't want us to make. So the tool set that we wanted to create had to be in line with making those compliant claims and creating that product communication that was indeed compliant. And so PromoRpeublic definitely helped us with that. We'll talk more about that later. The fourth thing here is expansion of promotional campaigns. Again, the question is, when you launch a campaign or an initiative, how do you get word out, number 1, to the field or to our field of wellness advocates as soon as possible? But then how do we have them amplify that to the people that follow them on social media, specifically those individuals that may be interested in the product that they sell to already? How can we expand those promotional campaigns? And again, PromoRpeublic was the answer. We'll talk more about that. On to the next slide, please. Now, we did have a solution prior to PromoRpeublic, and for all truth and honesty, I reached out to PromoRpeublic. I'd utilized them personally on the side for some other things that I did. I've been in social media, as I mentioned, quite a long time. PromoRpeublic had some awesome features and functionality of their platform. And I thought, wow, we really need to expand this into what we're doing at dōTERRA. We did have a previous tool. It didn't meet our expectations. Number one, there was low usage on the tool. We'll talk about the percentages, but basically under 10% of the people that were signed up for the tool were actually utilizing it. We needed to expand that number incrementally and exponentially, ideally. And that's what we've been able to do with PromoRpeublic since we made the switch. We had some irregular content updates. Content wasn't always updated. It was hard for people to find what they needed to utilize. It just caused a lot of issues for what we wanted to have done. There was no customization. Imagine, you guys, if everyone was able to share the same piece of content, but they weren't able to customize it, add their logo, or change out any of the verbiage so it sounded more like them and their personal brand. That was an issue. There was no posting consistency. Some of our people, again, under 10% would log in once a week. Some would log in once every 6 months. There were just issues with how they would post and what that consistency would look like. And we really wanted to be able to track that more than we could. And again, that analytics package that they had wasn't all that robust or interesting either. So that was an issue. And the final thing that we have on this slide is compliance risks. We weren't able to actually look over to see what people were posting. And again, as I mentioned on the previous slide, compliance is a big issue. And so the fact that we weren't able to really rein that in and feel good about that, that was a big concern and a red flag for us. And so because of these 5 reasons and others, we started looking for a new tool and landed on PromoRpeublic. Next slide, please. So again, I just set up the problems and here are the solutions, right? Some of the things that I mentioned before that PromoRpeublic provided for us and still provides for us, which are wonderful and make our life so much easier. Number one, there's editable content storage. As you can imagine, if you have all of these people, similar to a franchise and a franchisee, right? dōTERRA, if you look at them as the equivalent of the franchise and the wellness advocate is the franchisee, we needed to make sure that people could add personalization to this, whether it's a logo, whether it's more brand friendly, how they say things. We needed to make sure that that editable content was an option. PromoRpeublic does that in spades. They do a great job with that. They come up with promotional campaigns working with us and a dedicated person that we have here at corporate. We work on promotional campaigns. So every month when we have a special product of the month or a percentage off product, or those special times of year when we have buy one, get ones or BOGOs, we're able to create editable content. And those are campaign and initiative specific. So those promotional campaigns really not only garner awareness of our wellness advocates, but it allows them to personalize that content if they want to, before they share that with their audiences on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Pinterest, on all of these social media platforms. So that tweaking of the corporate content, I think, is key. There is a great mobile app use case that we've worked together with PromoRpeublic on. We're adding to the functionality of that daily, but we all know that desktops are great, but we know that people are always on the go. They need the mobile functionality that we can provide. And PromoRpeublic has been a great partner in creating that with us at the request of our wellness advocates. So we see those features and functionality that they request. We're able to ingest that and prioritize that accordingly. The fourth point I wanted to bring up is analytics and reporting. Now, this is important not only for the wellness advocate, they need to be able to see which of their posts are resonating with their audiences. So there's a simple dashboard. Once you log into PromoRpeublic, you can see how each of the posts are doing. You can look at paid versus organic. What I love about it, though, is it's so simple. It's so intuitive that you can take one glance at it and really start to scroll down and see all your posts and say, wow, there's one that did well. Wow, there's one that did well. You can deconstruct those posts and start working those types of elements into your other posts so that eventually you start optimizing that content and all of your posts start to lift because of that. So the analytics and reporting, that's important for the wellness advocate, but the overall view that we see from a doTERRA perspective is also important as well. We've worked together hand in glove with PromoRpeublic to create some very, I think, in-depth dashboards that give us a view to engagement, to number of posts shared, to, I mean, there's a plethora, I could keep going, but there's a plethora of content and information that you can get from those dashboards, and that's helpful. Wellness advocate training, that's a key piece too, that you need to make sure that you just don't launch a product and leave it. You need to be able to help your people, in our case, wellness advocates, walk through that, understand the tool, how to best utilize it, best practices, so that they become better over time. And PromoRpeublic has been a wonderful partner in doing these things all through the process. And the last thing that I'll mention is compliance. That seems to be a common theme that we're talking about today, but you want to make sure, you want to set up the guardrails for your representatives, in our case, wellness advocates. You want them to test, you know, have a playground to play in between those guardrails, but you need to make sure they stay within those guardrails. So that's one thing that PromoRpeublic has created that has really helped us and put our mind at ease so that we can feel good about the content that is going out there. Next slide, please. Okay, so for many of you, you're going to have to figure out, okay, how do I take this use case to stakeholders, people who can say yes, people that are above me that need to be in the know and understand what a tool like this can do, but also say yes, give us the green light so we have the budgetary amounts that we need, so that we have the availability of resources, whether it's monetary or time or whatever the case is, so that we can move forward and utilize this tool in a great way. So number one, know your approval committee. Know the people that you need to talk to, those gatekeepers, those individuals. We put a terminology, or excuse me, a lexicon of terminology here to the right. I'm not going to go through that too much today, but just know the people that you need to talk to. Who needs to say yes, so that not only can you get the appropriate resources from a time perspective, but also monetarily, you can get those budget dollars so that you can move forward with a tool like this. You need to share the outcomes and the efficiencies, not the raw idea. And that's what I love about PromoRpeublic is they have been a true partner, and they will continue to do this. The free trials, the freemium model that they have, right now we offer 2 weeks free, and then you start paying after that. So dip your foot in the pool, see if you like it, see if it's warm, see if you want to jump in. Before you jump in, you can just dip your foot in the pool and make sure the temperature is great before committing to it. And so share those outcomes, use case studies, work with Raquel and others at PromoRpeublic, because they have a rich database of use cases, people that have utilized the product and have been very pleased with it. So dig into that, get those testimonials out there. Cover strategy goals with a smooth solution. Obviously, you want to talk about some of the tactical things that happen, but really it's the overarching strategy that you'll want to address. How can we empower our representatives, again, in our case, it's wellness advocates, to be better representatives of the company or of corporate, and how can we empower them to amplify the messaging that we want to be amplified? Again, there are so many people, we talk about things going viral on social media. If we just harness the power of the people, of the community that we've built, we have tens of thousands of people that are building their doTERRA businesses right now. If we can harness even just a percentage of those people in sharing the doTERRA message, the power behind that is incredible. It's the same for you. You're looking for people who will want to build a community and can represent your brand. Same thing, same thing. So harness the power of that community, create that strategy. And then request help. As I mentioned before, Raquel is a wonderful partner. The whole team is wonderful. We just had 3 individuals come visit. Some came as far as, I believe, somewhere in Eastern Europe to come over and talk to us about what we're doing with doTERRA and with the platform. So they're very supportive. And so find a supportive individual. Raquel, you can't find one more supportive from her, but you will get the help you need if you request it from PromoRpeublic. Next slide. Okay, so all of that came together into this great tool that we have called PromoRpeublic, or excuse me, dōTERRA Social. We white labeled it. It's the engine that is behind PromoRpeublic. We also white label it for dōTERRA Social. So we have, as you see on your screen, the rich analytics that you can pull from this is incredible. On the far right-hand side, you see some of the screenshots from the mobile view, but again, a beautiful UI UX experience. You know, the user interface is just incredible. We have had many great responses from our wellness advocates on how clean it is, how simple it is to find the content that they want to share. And we're always making improvements. That's one other thing. You can always do better, right? We know you can always do better. And if you have a user feedback loop with those that are constantly using the product, you'll continue to get better and optimize the product. And that's what I love is we love the product as it exists, but we're always committed to make it better. Next slide, please. Okay, so I just want to go through 4 things today that we utilize dōTERRA Social for. Again, it empowers our wellness advocates to create content, to share that content on the go. Again, desktops are great. And sometimes that's a better environment to actually create content. But we also know that everyone has busy lives and we spend more time on our digital devices than we do usually with the desktop. So I love the fact that we empower them to do these things on the go. Number 2 is maintaining that messaging compliance, making sure that they stay between those rails, but they have the freedom and the ability to personalize that content staying between the rails. Amplify that promotional campaign content that we put out there. And I think being able to help them not only know what the content is, but share that, easily edit if they want to, and then share that and go from there is huge. Finally, overseeing what the results are, having access to those rich dashboards that you just saw on the previous slide, I think that's huge. And knowing what that looks like for each individual wellness advocate, but then we have an overall global view of if you aggregate those individual wellness advocates up into a single number, what does that look like? And I think for us, that has empowered us from corporate to be able to understand, wow, we really have harnessed this massive synergy of efforts on the part of each wellness advocate. Next slide. Okay, so just some quick screenshots, and I'm just going to go through this kind of in rapid fire, but it gives you a quick visual and aesthetic view of some of the things you can do both on desktop and mobile platform. But the first point I want to bring up, again, wellness advocates can access and share on-brand assets without effort. Again, I talked about the UI, UX, and customization and personalization and all that. Just a beautiful interface, easy to navigate, easy to find what you need. Next, please. They save time scheduling all social profiles in one place. That's what's so beautiful about this is you can create, if you want to, one piece of content and share that to Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and other places. And so again, the efficiency of what we see with this tool has just really helped us advocate for, hey, utilize this tool to create your content and then go out and meet with people, create the relationships, sell, but create the relationships that help you. Now, again, this is a great tool. We don't want people to spend a lot of time on this tool. If they spend too much time, we haven't done our job. The goal here is to create efficiency for the wellness advocates. So if we can somehow curtail the time that they spend online in creating content, check, job done for us. So again, it saves time scheduling to all their social profiles in one place. Also, the notifications, we should mention this. They get notifications, our wellness advocates do, about new and suggested posts from corporate, and they can approve them in one click if they so desire. So one of the things that we've worked together with PromoRpeublic to do is create suggested posts. Now, this is powerful because a lot of people will jump into the platform. If they have some concerns or they don't have a lot of time, but they know they need content up, they can just approve something that we suggest for them in a certain slot for a certain day. And we have noticed that we sell a lot of products off of these suggested posts. So not only do people utilize the post, we're able to put UTM links on them so that basically through Google, we can see how many people convert to our site, where they go on our site, doTERRA.com. Do they end up purchasing something? So that allows us even more of a umbrella view on what this tool can do for us. So again, the scheduled posts and the suggested posts are very, very important for us, as it helps our wellness advocates even more if they need to save time. So these scheduled posts are, suggested posts are extremely important. Next slide, please. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the dashboards, though they show us some important information. Again, each individual wellness advocate sees what they do individually, but we are able to bring all of those results together, corral them into a single space, and see visually what is happening based on all of these individual wellness advocates. So for us, the aggregate amount that you can see on a dashboard like you see in front of you now, that's huge. That's huge. Next slide. Again, back to compliance. Every claim is checked for compliance. So you're able to put in a lexicon of words that you may be concerned about. Whatever that verbiage is, when somebody types that in or plans to send that out, it will flag them before that hits any social media, public-facing social media. So it can say, hey, a little warning flag goes up, and it might be a different usage of the word. For example, cold, that's one that we want people to be careful before they make any claims about colds. But cold could be an adjective. Today I woke up and I was cold. Okay, that doesn't mention a physical cold like, hey, take this and you'll get over your cold. That's what we have to be careful about. So again, it will flag and it will help them understand, hey, before this goes out, just make sure that you're being compliant in the way that you utilize this. So as it mentions here, wellness advocates receive educational warnings on non-compliant word usage in their posts. Again, it doesn't stop them. You could have it stop them from posting, but we just put it on kind of a yellow warning sign where it's just, hey, read this once again, make sure you're being compliant, then they can push it through. And yes, is this Raquel where you come in? I can't remember. I think so.
Yes, that is me. I'm back. Hello, everyone. So John gave us a really great overview of how doTERRA is using the platform and what that looked like for them in their journey to partnership. As the head of customer success, it's only right that I jump in and describe what we've done together to date and what we build our partnership really as the fundamental pillars, as you see here. So first is strategy sessions. Right when we partnered together, we had a massive brainstorm on what drives success. What does that look like for each of us? What are the best tactics to set the platform up correctly? Even some technical aspects like what domain does it sit on? So we did all of this together. And then from here, we talk about ongoing product updates. So I know John has mentioned this a lot. This is something as big as our mobile app, which we started off as a desktop version. Through a lot of user feedback, we noticed that mobile was at the forefront and we needed to get that up and running. So we did, and now it's widely adopted, as well as future updates. Even this past Monday, we had a massive strategy session with our product manager and discussed what that looks like for the next 6, 9, beyond months on what features are we going to build out together and what matters to the wellness advocates and the team at doTERRA headquarters. The next, which I already see some questions in the question and answer box, which we'll discuss in our question and answer session, is around education. What does this look like? So we have monthly webinars that PromoRpeublic and doTERRA co-host together that are topical. So this is all about the importance of social media marketing, how to start your personal brand, what that looks like. The topic changes every month and revolves around key times of year. For example, when doTERRA released their holiday collection in November for the upcoming holidays, we had a webinar all about that, as well as the importance of posting on social and the fundamentals there. So not only do we give them the tools to success, but we give the foundation. And that's just the topical side of webinars. We also do a onboarding and training webinars as well intermittently. We have some on demand. We have a joint landing page where all of that information sits. So we really have robust educational materials around this, and business reviews. So we do have check-ins and meets. We always review the top metrics at our meetings and go through the motions there, because it's just as important for John and his team to know how we're doing as well as it is for us. So we're very transparent about every step of the way, because our success rests on this together. And that's how we treat each and every single partnership. And that kind of ties into what the strategy sessions are looking like. So here you see that we define success. So that is the first step a customer success manager on my team will help any of our partners with. So that's when we discuss if we're having a pilot, what does that look like? What goals are there? So this is really where we define the KPIs. Then we move on to distributors. So in the case of doTERRA, we launched to the top distributors first. So we decided what segmentation that was, how do we pitch it to them, how do we get some high level influencers in there as well. So we really defined what the client or distributor facing value proposition is to entice them onto the platform. And then that rollout plan. So tying with our education program, we had email campaigns, we had internal campaigns. Back when in-person events were a thing, we were at doTERRA's big convention, just kind of meeting and greeting and getting the word out there as well. And content. So I know John touched upon this quite a bit, because that is truly the backbone of the platform, just robust amounts of content constantly revolving on a monthly basis. So we're pushing out promotions every month. We sync with the doTERRA marketing team on what content they want to see, when they want that schedule, what that looks like. So that's all about the content rollout, and then education and initiatives. So it's really a 5-step plan to start off with that revolves into our ongoing plan together. And then again, I touched upon this lightly, but that pilot for what the North American team, we launched together with John. So for stage 1, we picked the first 200 wellness advocates. We had a really enticing offer for them. They got maybe some free months just to test it out while we were really building the product to what it is now, really robust. And this was a really great feedback loop for us. So we had a white label platform with the mobile app in development. We had this massive onboarding campaign around education, and again, that feedback loop. And then stage 2 was off to the races. We scaled massively, we grew globally, and we're really excited about all of our progress over the past year and a half together. So it's been a really exciting journey.
Raquel, sorry to interrupt, but I'll add a little color commentary. I do think stage 1 was critical for us, right? Getting in with quote unquote influencers. Maybe not as it's utilized now, having a large online following, but these are people that were some of our highest leaders in doTERRA, so they could influence their teams and help them understand the value that a tool like this could bring. And so I think, as we look at a rollout, and as we suggest rollouts to those individuals listening today, it's find the people that have a megaphone within an organization, right? Get on their good side, or help them understand the value, the features, the benefits of the platform, so that they can then relay that on to their individual teams. You can't underestimate the power of that influence when you're trying to roll something like this out.
Yeah, really great point. And I think that almost naturally goes to the next slide, which is why you made that switch and what that looked like for you.
Yeah. So I alluded to this earlier in the conversation, but we were with Amplify, a Hootsuite product. If you look at, those 5 things underneath that logo, we had 10%, we had maybe low double digit, high single digit usage of the tool. that was a concern for us. We need more people on the platform, more people sharing content that is brand compliant for not only them individually, but also corporate. Again, we talked about the content library, very limited. The customization wasn't there. There was no posting consistency, and compliance had some issues. So again, if you look to what we evolved to, the PromoRpeublic platform, again, 75% adoption rate, you guys, or excuse me, 73% adoption rate. That's incredible. 3 out of every 4 people that are on the platform are really utilizing this in some way, shape, or form. The number of assets that are uploaded, incredible. Almost 7,000 in about 18 months. We know that about half of the users will edit the content. That's something that they really wanted. A lot of people, like I said, the suggested posts, they'll just post what corporate puts out there. Think of the value of that alone. Even if content is not customized, being able to put the verbiage out and the content out that we see as important. If we need to sell a certain SKU or focus on a certain product or product line or family of brands, we can do that. And we have this army, this great swell of people coming together to share that message for us. And that's huge. The content suggestions, we wanted to get more proactive content suggestions. So now we have 2 times the posting activity growth. And then finally, the compliance piece, right? We needed something that would help us in that effort. And so we have 200 plus keywords that are listed. Again, that send out kind of a yellow yield or warning sign to people before they go out. So if they utilize one of those 200 terms, it will stop them before, again, it goes live to any social platforms and say, hey, are you utilizing this term correctly based on some of the guardrails that we've set up from corporate? So for all of those reasons and more, that's why we made the transition to PromoRpeublic. Now, this is something, Raquel, jump in here if you have some thoughts too, but the social activation program, I think for us was important. You had mentioned before the monthly webinars, right? We have onboarding, we have training and educational webinars. Now, as you mentioned, some of those are onboarding webinars. We've done some like how to create a personal brand online and other key things that people need to know when they venture into the online space. We are kind of their I guess you could say they're mentors in some of this, or at least we have a way to mentor them. And I think that's been helpful. The other key thing that I think we've done, and this was something, again, we've worked on in conjunction with our partners at PromoRpeublic, is creating a community. We have over 16,000 people now in a Facebook group that is specifically dedicated toward dōTERRA Social, meaning the tool that we've created. And that has been so helpful to get not only information disseminated to people, but also peers help one another. If they have questions about the platform or how to find something or how to navigate or something, peers jump in and answer other peers' questions. So creating that community has been very helpful. Those personal onboarding sessions for the top leaders and their teams, Raquel has done great working with some of our representatives here at dōTERRA. We do that kind of as a incentive for some of our top leaders to say, hey, if you get the group together, we'll provide the training. And so we've done that multiple times for many of our leaders here at dōTERRA. And then the launch of ad hoc marketing initiatives to grow the usage and retention, that can't be understated either. I think being able to help people understand the value of this platform, what it brings to them individually, also corporate, I think can't be understated.
No, I definitely agree with everything you've said, and we have a lot to thank from the partnership together, because this has really been an exciting journey to grow together and to build the curriculum based on the feedback from the wellness advocates themselves. And you can even see from the wellness advocates what they think of the platform. We have Hilary LeMay, who's a high rank within dōTERRA, as well as Cindy, who's a wellness advocate. To hear directly from the horse's mouth, so the expression is. And I know we're right about to wrap up, so we do have some really exciting questions that I would love to ask you, John, if that's all right.
Please do. Please do.
So I think the first one, which is really important because we were throughout our journey over the past year and a half together, a little bit longer, is what role did PromoRpeublic play when the pandemic took the world by storm? Because that was obviously, as you said, when you switched from sitting knee to knee to being completely virtual.
Yes, great question, wonderful question. And I would say not only did it impact us from a pandemic perspective, but it's changed the way that we are coming out of the pandemic now. You know, more and more people are able to get vaccines, it's helping us understand basically how we can change the way that we do business day to day. So number one, I'll answer that very quickly. We realized from a lot of business models you had to go from, like you said, in person to virtual. This has allowed us to create content at scale and help people to share from one to many, right? Very, very quickly. So for example, as they were trying to figure out, okay, how do I hold online classes now instead of in-person classes? Many of them would migrate to an online platform to be able to do that with video and some other things. The content that we created for them on this PromoRpeublic platform, dōTERRA Social, was able to get people into those classes. And so we saw the number of posts go up dramatically. We saw the number of the time that people spent online go up dramatically as well. But PromoRpeublic was key in helping us continue to help our wellness advocates get people into their online classes. So that was key and critical to help them from a continuity perspective to do a lot of that. We also increased the number of assets that we had, as I showed you before, almost 7,000 individual assets that we have now available. So we knew that we had to crank up that number. And so we went through the roof in what we put on the platform. Again, that number in 18 months, I think is incredible. I think we expected probably to be at half of that, but because of the pandemic, we wanted to give as many educational tools and assets available to our wellness advocates as possible. So I think in all those ways and more, PromoRpeublic has been key in helping us maintain our momentum through the pandemic.
Yeah, really great. Thank you. So I do see a few separate questions surrounding education. So I'm going to kind of combine them into one. So the question is, what is the best format of training distributors on social media? You mentioned PromoRpeublic assisted. Do you have anything else in the wheelhouse?
Yes, great question. And I think the key here is, how do you do it so that you help people stair step and ladder up? So they have basic nuggets of knowledge. We build on that in segment 2, go to segment 3, segment 4, etc. So we actually created a training module called the dōTERRA Social Media Academy. That can be found at training.doterra.com. We actually took a lot of the content that we knew that people wanted to know about building a brand online and the need to do that, as you mentioned, during a pandemic. So we actually took a lot of that base content and married that with the functionality of our dōTERRA Social tool, which is powered by PromoRpeublic, to create not only the principle on one side, but also how you practically bring that to bear. So the principle is true no matter what tool you use, but this is how you activate that principle based on the platform dōTERRA Social. So I think that was key and crucial, as well as we were trying to get people more knowledge about how to incrementally build their business during this unprecedented time, but also help us do it in a systematic way that could be leveraged and scaled over time.
Yeah, really great. Thank you. I think we have time for one more. And this one is really unique from your perspective at dōTERRA Corporate. So there are a few questions asked around this. So it is some insight as to who is managing PromoRpeublic internally, and any corporate initiatives you have around PromoRpeublic, as well as what impact that had on how you operate as a marketing team and how you interact with distributors.
Yes. Okay. So let's hit the HR side of this first. As you can guess, any tool with this scope and functionality, you can't just put it on cruise control in any way, shape, or form. So we do have somebody that is dedicated, at least a certain percentage of that person's time is dedicated toward growing this tool, toward getting that feedback from our wellness advocates, toward understanding more of what they want and need on the platform. And then creating the tools, either partnering with PromoRpeublic or creating those in-house so that we can satisfy those needs. So number one, plan on having a resource, if not a fully dedicated resource, at least a partially dedicated resource, so that you can continue to grow and build and optimize the tool. Ask me again the second part so I don't miss any of those.
Sorry, let me pull up the question again. What impact did implementation have on corporate initiatives as well as interaction with distributors?
Yeah, so good question. What impact did it have? Number one, if you do this right, and again, we are still learning. We're still going through the learning process. So by no means are we perfect at this yet. However, it should impact your marketing, and we've already seen it impact our marketing in the fact that we are giving assets the distributors want, the wellness advocates want and desire. And we're able to give them the assets of the initiatives, the key initiatives that we are trying to promote so that they can go out and, again, amplify those things, whether it's a campaign that we create around a certain topic or around a product or a family brand. Those are things that they can easily go out and share with others. We have seen those people that are utilizing this tool, we have seen that they are able to level up, to grow their personal businesses. Almost unequivocally, we see people that utilize this on a regular basis. I'm not going to say a daily basis because, again, this is the type of tool, if you're in it every day, you might be overthinking it. But you should be in it probably from a weekly cadence every once in a while, and then answering comments, directly on the native platforms, whether it be Facebook or Instagram. But this is the type of tool, if you're in it regularly, you will see your business grow. It's best if you tie the content that is here provided by dōTERRA Social into a funnel, a sales funnel of sorts. So if people know how to create funnels and create the funneling system, that obviously helps, because this helps you amplify the brand from a top level perspective for these individuals. But again, if you can tie that into, again, marketing branding, marketing funnels, you will be much more able to take the people that you're able to bring into the corral through social media down through that funnel into the buying phase. And so that's important too, to understand that this is an answer. Utilizing this with other tools is even more efficient and effective for actually helping you grow individuals who want to use your product.
Yeah, thank you. I know I said last question last time. This is the real last question just because I've seen a few pop up about this. And this is, what are your thoughts on best practices surrounding authentic content and branded content? So the question's all about the balance between dōTERRA content and user content.
Wonderful question, because what we don't want to do, and I'm glad they brought this up because this is an important piece. We don't want them just to be robots out there sharing content that we create. It's got to be a mixture of, okay, corporate-led content with personal branding content. I think if people are able to find that good mix, and it's going to be slightly different for every individual, but what I love about this tool is, again, we create the brand bumpers. So if we create a post and they add a personalized logo for their, myessentialoils.com or whatever their company is, and they decide, hey, that's not exactly how I would word that post, they can change that post. But guess what? Probably 60 to 70% of what we put in there from a corporate perspective, the main messaging we want to emphasize, is probably still in that post. And so this is a nice hybrid approach. So even if they do personalize and customize that content, we're most likely still getting the main messaging that we want to get across from a corporate perspective. And they're slightly pivoting on that from a wellness advocate perspective. So it sounds more authentic, more real. So I would strongly suggest, everything that we put out shouldn't be just shared wholesale. Also, everything that they want to put out from a personal perspective is probably not going to help them build their business unless they're really expert in social media and understand how to do these types of things. So a hybrid approach is probably best. And again, that's why I say I absolutely love this tool, because I believe you can utilize the tool and make those two meld in a good way that makes sense, and also create content that is corporate supported, but wellness advocate led, if that makes sense. It's the message that they want to say, but again, it's emphasizing something that we see as important from a corporate perspective. And again, that's why I love the tool. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And that brings to mind the webinar that we led together, defining your personal brand, because there are these built-in features, as you mentioned, to completely customize the content. Or if you know you're taking your own photos like right on your phone, you can also upload them to the platform and use them and change out little bits and pieces to make it personalized, but still have that core ethos, as you mentioned. So really, really great point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Last point, and again, this isn't nowhere in the deck, but I just want to make a plug for this. The ability to localize this tool, I think, is huge too. So if you're mainly North American, only need an English tool, wonderful, got you covered. But what I see one of the main benefits of PromoRpeublic being is the ability to take the tool set and to localize it. So if you wanted to work around the globe, this platform has the functionality to allow you to do that. And that's my last plug, and I'm done.
Thank you so much, Sean. It's a really great point. We're really proud to have grown with you around the globe and work with the different doTERRA markets. And it's been really great learning experience for us, just like you said, this journey together. So with that, I did want to thank you, John, for your time today. It was really insightful, and I really appreciated you sharing your story and doTERRA's story with us. And thank you, everyone, for joining today.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see ya.
Thank you.